rough welcome for rookies, another home series loss for Cardinals. After 97 games, the Cardinals, because of the rainout a few days ago, became the last major league team forced to employ a starting pitcher other than the five-man rotation with which it started the season. Start no. 98 didn't go well from just about the time rookie Mike Mayers took his last warm-up toss and, although the Cardinals chased all night, they fell short to the Los Angeles Dodgers, 9-6, Sunday night at Busch Stadium. The loss marked the 10th series out of 11 the Cardinals had lost at home to a winning team, with only the San Francisco Giants on the other side of the ledger. And it didn't get any better after the game. The airplane that was to take them to New York for the start of a series Monday night had mechanical trouble, and the earliest departure time was going to be well after 1 a.m. The departure of Mayers after just 1 1/3 innings he allowed 9 runs also threw the bullpen for loss. Manager Mike Matheny said a position player would have had to be used if Seth Maness hadn't pitched a career-longest 3 2/3 scoreless innings. The club will reach to Class AAA Memphis on Monday to bring up the reliever to replace Mayers, who was optioned to Memphis after the game. At some point soon, they are sure to address deposed closer Trevor Rosenthal, who pitched out of a sixth-inning jam but then walked the bases loaded in the seventh the third time he has done that this season and had to be rescued by Matt Bowman. Rosenthal threw only 2 balls out of 13 pitches in the sixth but 12 out of 19 in the seventh. Matheny thought Rosenthal might have tired in the second inning, after having thrown 21 pitches the night before. Before the players left the clubhouse late Sunday night/early Monday morning, Rosenthal had a meeting in Matheny's office, with pitching coach Derek Lilliquist also in attendance. Sense Cards Chat, Derrick Goold live at 1 p.m. Sense Cards Talk fans sound of a.m.The.'s latest moveMayers' Major League career hardly could have started less auspiciously for him or more disappointingly for the 45 friends and family from Ohio, Florida, Mississippi and other locals who were on hand at Busch Stadium. Leadoff man Chase Utley singled to center. Seager squibbed an infield hit over third. Justin Turner walked on a full count pitch. Adrian Gonzalez hit a 427-foot drive to center for a grand slam. After Howie Kendrick had extended his hitting streak to 16 games with a double, Matheny went to the mound and told the 24-year-old, only a year removed from a serious thoracic outlet syndrome procedure, to have fun. "I'm sure he probably saw that I was starting to pitch with a little bit of pressure on myself," said Mayers. Before the game, Mayers reminded himself that the dimensions from the mound to the plate are the same everywhere. 60 feet, 6 inches, he said. "I felt like I told myself that over and over. But when you get out there, it's a totally different ball game. I started to let my emotions get to me. After those first 2 hits, I felt like I had to be better. I didn't necessarily know the game was speeding up. It kind of snowballed. The next thing you know it's a grand slam. That's like, wait a second. This isn't the way it's supposed to work out." Later in the inning, pitcher Scott Kazmir, an .097 hitter, knocked in 2 runs with a single up the middle. You get the pitcher up there and you think this might be an opportunity to get out of it, said Matheny. The pitcher knocking in a couple of runs usually puts you in a bad spot. It took Mayers 45 pitches to navigate the 6-run first, and the Cardinals didn't quite recover, although Matheny said, "There are a lot of teams that just roll over." Guys kept playing to the point where they had to bring their closer into the game. "We made them nervous more than once." The second inning didn't go any more swimmingly for Mayers, who allowed a 2-run homer by Kendrick among 3 hits. "He was amped up, for sure," said Matheny. "Every kid that's ever picked up a baseball. That's their dream, to be in that kind of situation. I thought he had pretty good composure overall. He was so amped up, maybe overthrowing his off-speed pitches a little. He couldn't put guys away. He'd get into some pretty good counts and then foul ball after foul ball, and then he tried to get too fine and got into a little trouble. But I told him when he came off that he's done a great job and he's had a great season, 8.25 combined at Memphis and Springfield, and that's a tough assignment he just walked into." Catcher Yadier Molina said, "He looked calm to me. He made a couple of pitches in the strike zone and they didn't miss them." Mayers, who less than a year ago was having a rib removed and having to deal with a collapsed lung after his surgery, is highly thought of by the organization. But he surely will be on his way back to Memphis, perhaps to be seen later in the season. Immediately after the game, Mayers said he didn't know what his next destination would be. He found out a while later. The Cardinals had a laudable performance by most of their bullpen, including Maness, who threw 41 strikes out of 53 pitches. Tallying in the first inning for the first time in 17 games, the Cardinals scored on Stephen Picotti's 2-out single and a double by Matt Holliday, and they added 2 in the second on a double by Molina, who hit safely for the 9th straight game, and Tommy Pham's 6th homer, which extended their consecutive game streak with a homer. 215. Thunder Adam Liberatore, who hadn't been scored on in the Dodger record 28 consecutive games, had that string snapped in the 7th when the Cardinals scored 3 times, 2 on a double by Picotti, who leads the National League in hitting with runners in scoring position at .414. The comeback hit the wall, or rather center fielder Jock Pederson hit it, when he jumped to catch pinch hitter Matt Adams' extra base bid in the 8th. Old Medioc's streak of reaching base ended at 26 games on a sacrifice fly in the 8th. He was on deck when the game ended. After being knocked out, Mayers spent the rest of the night either watching the game from the dugout or talking to veteran pitchers like James Garcia and Adam Wainwright. "I'm sure as the days go along, you don't have the feeling in your gut as much," Mayers said. "And you start to think back. It was an awesome experience. Once in a lifetime. It will never happen again," he said. "But, at the same time, it's good to have the feeling in your gut. Tomorrow, I go back to work and make sure I get better." On the other side, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, asked if even a small part of him felt bad for Mayers, replied, "Absolutely not. Pile on. In this league no one feels sorry for us.